We are live. We are back. It's been a minute. I know we've kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. But this is myself, once again, Derek Hernandez, a.k.a. The Land Shark, coming back to you for NCB Live number 5.
Yo, what's happening, everybody? Greg is back. They didn't run me off, but we did go on hiatus for a little bit.
Yeah, things have changed for us, at least for myself here. I'm actually not in the Mile High City anymore. I am living back in Nebraska. I'm in the Big O. So I've relocated since last time we kind of broadcasted live for all you guys. So we're gonna
a lot of changes with us actually, like personally. It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if we get into that or not. This might be that might be be live after dark or something, but we'll get to that eventually.
Right.
What we're gonna do then? We've missed. I don't even know the last time we recorded a show. Probably back in February, maybe. I don't even know. Even before January, I think, for the NBA All-Star stuff. But since it's been a couple months here, we're not going to cover all that stuff. We're just going to get right into what just happened recently. That's way too much stuff for me to remember. So we're probably going to jump right into March Madness. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of it. But we're going to basically, I guess, Greg, what stood out most to you after the first weekend?
I mean, it's funny. The only thing that I've been talking to people about all day, it seems like, has been good old Florida Gulf Coast and their improbable run in the tournament right now. Personally, Dunk City. Personally, Georgetown destroying my bracket has stood out to me. But I'm not one of those fun haters that can't enjoy it after my bracket is busted. I mean, I pretty much realized that after the first weekend, I can just light the thing on fire and it's over with. So, but no,
it takes the pressure off of you when that happens, really. Like, and I'll get to this when I get to my picks. But after a big upset happens, at that point, I'm just hoping for havoc because I'm not going to win the bracket.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's funny because even though like Florida Gulf Coast, like them winning, like messed up everybody's bracket. So I think it's even more fun for you to just kind of get into it, and when they're winning and the way that they play. It's pretty fun to watch, so I just kind of got into it and let it roll. I'm cool with it.
Oh yeah, and did you? Speaking of everybody kind of getting with it, I know when I got home from work today, I know ESPN was covering their live pep rally. I don't know if you caught any of that, but they cut live to the pep rally when the coach was talking, and it was kind of bad timing for them. They were dropping F-bombs. They were just basically chanting "F you Gators" for like a good 30 seconds, and ESPN didn't cut it off. They just kept it going. I'm like, is this for real?
Hey, man, it's like you said, that's ESPN After Dark right there. Sports Center for adults.
I guess, man. I guess. And kind of speaking after dark, I mean, one of their, I can't remember the guy's name on Gulf Coast. It looks like O-Dog from Menace to Society, though.
What's to do with the braids?
Yeah, man. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, my man, the dude that was out there doing the chicken dance after the game.
Oh, that was just, there were some great gifts this weekend. I got to tell you that. And
yeah. See, I'm still arguing with you whether or not it's gifts or gifs, but that's a whole separate conversation.
It's funny. Right after we had that.
No, they had it.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying that there were definitely a lot of good gifs. It's funny because when I got home from work tonight, I was just looking at a bunch of them, looking at Miami's coach doing his Muhammad Ali impersonation in the locker room. There were about 6 of them from just Florida Gulf Coast over the weekend. There was a lot of good ones from them just by themselves. There was a lot of good stuff this weekend.
That Miami coach, that Ali shuffle was straight up terrible. I mean, I seen Shane O'Mac does a better Ali shuffle, man. Here comes the money.
Yeah, man. Yes, here comes the money. Speaking of, I'm surprised you're not watching Raw right now. You DVRing it, aren't you?
I actually do got it on in the background right now. That's supposed to be my little secret, but since you're calling me out, I do have it on. I'll turn around.
I mean, I didn't mean to put you out there like that.
It's all good. I'm pretty sure I'll have some sort of WrestleMania dedicated show here in a week or two. So, anyways, but what stood out for me, I know you mentioned your bracket being busted, but the first thing I want to say is F you Harvard for rooting my bracket and then going out and getting the doors blown off the very next game. I mean, that was kind of a waste of time for me. It was worth it, though,
Right.
to see kind of Jeremy Lin do his little crazy pictures celebrating the win. But I want to say that. And then two for me is the Big Ten showing that they really weren't all overhyped. I know there was a lot of rumblings about that. And it kind of baffled my mind. Like, I don't know what you guys have been watching, but that conference is legit. And they're right now they take up a quarter of the field. They have Indiana, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, and they're representing the Big Ten pretty well. And then number three for me is Creighton getting knocked the F out of the tournament. I know we take a little joy in that since we're Husker fans, but they got knocked out in what I call the Wayne Brady game because of the lack of diversity in the crowd. I basically said, and I said this on Twitter, and if you follow us on Facebook, I basically said that game made Bryant Gumbel look like Malcolm X. If you just look at that crowd out there. And we were talking about this on Twitter yesterday. We were actually pretty cordial about the whole thing. We weren't really in people's faces about them getting knocked out.
I thought, yeah, we talked about it last night. We were pretty nice about it. I threw out a couple jerky comments on Facebook, but hey, they deserved it. But it's funny, at this point, Creighton fans they weren't really that mad, at least to me, because they should be used to getting knocked out at this point. They may win that first round game against maybe another no-name school, and then they play somebody pretty good, and then it's pretty much all she wrote.
Pretty much. I mean, for them, it just seemed like they were just happy to play, a big-name team. It'd be kind of like if we, say some mid-level football program or something was playing like, oh, we played Alabama and we didn't get blown out. That's kind of what it seemed like to me. If they played like a big bowl game, like Utah, or I guess it's a bad example since they beat Alabama, but some bracket buster or some non-BCS school getting to play a BCS game against one of the big-name schools. That's kind of what it seemed like, and in the back of my mind is like, all right, Creighton, try playing a conference like that full of Dukes and see how you guys do. And then get back to my point about the Big Ten. Yeah, Nebraska ball has been pretty, I don't want to say irrelevant, but pretty much non-existent in tournaments since like '98. But you're playing. Maybe they were in the Big 12 before that. I don't know. I think they're gonna struggle with that new Catholic League.
Yeah, I can see Creighton really having some issues in the new Catholic League. Once you have to play some pretty good competition on a consistent basis, it's going to be hard because what you saw last night in that game is when teams can at least limit McDermott, it's hard for those other guys on Creighton to get their own shot and even make them when they get attempts. So it's tough on those other guys, the other four that are out there, to really do anything on their own without McDermott creating for it. But to go back to what you were saying about the Big Ten, I totally agree with you on that. I think now that we're part of the Big Ten and we can now kind of be Big Ten homers, the lack of, I don't want to say lack of respect, but the people kind of questioning whether or not they were overrated is kind of ridiculous. It's been the best basketball conference by far all year.
It's not even close.
So to think that they were going to come to the tournament and just flame out is silly.
I'm like, this isn't football, man. We're a basketball conference, man. We're legit.
Right. At this point, the Big Ten is a basketball conference first before it's a football conference.
And let me disclaim, I said we're legit. I mean the conference. I know Nebraska is not really contributing to that, but just like Kentucky can claim the SEC football titles, I'm going to ride the coattails of the rest of the Big Ten
right
until Timmy Miles gets his boys.
We can ride that out.
Yeah, we had a little honeymoon period. But yeah, and speaking of riding it out too, though, I know we're going to switch gears a little bit unless you had something else to say about the tournament. Well, I guess I do have one last thing to say, man. Land Shark, man, you fell off. I was hoping you could keep going in the tournament. You were my boy.
Let you down, man.
You know he's at a strip club right now and just like snoring crack.
I was just about to say he is at a club right now.
I can see him and Johnny Football hanging out for some reason.
Hey, did you see the thing where supposedly they are gonna link up?
What? For what?
Yeah, supposedly like there's some chili. I'm not making this up. I think I heard there was some chili cook-off or something in College Station, something silly like that, and they were tweeting each other saying that they were going to get together. The internet will explode if there's pictures of them together.
I don't think Marshall Henderson's definition of a chili cook-off is probably the same as Johnny Manziel's. It's probably code for something, man.
Right. That's a totally different thing.
You got to keep me updated on that, or I'm actually going to Google that right after this. But I actually want that to happen.
Look into it.
Catherine Webb will be there for some reason.
Right.
Speaking of Catherine Webb and just being super hot right now, NBA streaks. I know one's in danger right now. My Nuggets we're down last time I checked by about 13 towards the end of the third. But Miami defeated Orlando tonight, and they're with 27 games in a row now, I think. Is that where they're at?
It's at the 26 or 27, one of the two. It might be 26.
Either way, it is ridiculous. I didn't think I'd see something like this in my lifetime. I mean, the NBA is just that competitive now. I mean, if that Bulls team that won 72 games couldn't even pull a streak like this, and they had two expansion teams that year. There were some bad teams that year too, and they even that team even lost to Denver at the old McNichols, and that team only won like 9 games all year. Like, it's hard to keep doing this night in and night out, but it's at this point now I expect them to win out the rest of the season. That's what I'm thinking right now.
I mean, at this point, you wouldn't be surprised by that. But yeah, it's one of those streaks in basket and NBA that you really don't even think about people breaking. Like, it's funny that more people talk about a team potentially winning 72 games and challenging that Bulls win record than they talk about winning 33 games in a row. Like, nobody ever talks about that.
It's nuts. I mean, they're like the home court advantage in the NBA is like. That's real. I mean, Miami's even won in, places like OKC, Denver. I mean, it's hard to win on the road. And I don't know, I don't really know what else to say about it, really. It would be hilarious, though, if they just got bounced pretty early in the Eastern Conference playoffs. But I don't think that's going to happen at all. But it's pretty miraculous. And the funny thing is it's kind of overshadowing the Nuggets streak. They're at 15. Any other year, they'd be the talk of the town right now. And, I mean, they're starting to get some love as a dark horse. I mean, people are like, I don't want to play that team. Nobody wants to play them. And a lot of that's kind of dependent on them being at home because they're a totally different team at home. I'd take this Nuggets team at home versus, like, pretty much any team out there, probably except Miami. If they played all 7 games at home, I guess that's everybody. But if they had a home court advantage, I think they'd beat everybody in the tournament except for Miami, probably.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. But Denver is definitely the team that you don't want to face because it's hard. It's just hard to play them, especially when you play them in Denver, that home court advantage like you were talking about, and the way they get up and down the floor. They're playing good defense now. Like, it's hard to beat them. And I agree, though, any other year, everybody would be talking about the Nuggets and how well they're doing right now, but the Heat have to be on just a historic rip right now. And so you have to talk about them. Like, people were talking, ESPN keeps blowing up the Heat, but, man, this stuff don't happen every day. You got to talk about this. It's something that it's once in a lifetime kind of thing.
I mean, I'm not a Heat fan by any means, but I respect game when I see it. And they basically have twice as long as a streak as Denver. That's outrageous.
Right.
And Denver's on fire right now.
Like, there's teams in the NBA that don't have 27 wins.
I don't think Bobcats have had that in like the last 3 years.
That one Bobcats fan, you can send your hate mail to Derek Hernandez.
Hey, my Twitter stuff's right down here. You can at me, DM me, whatever you got to do. After my Creighton arguments last night on Facebook, I think I'm ready for anything right now.
There you go.
And I did want to mention too, by the numbers, since we're kind of talking about Denver here. If you actually dig down deeper than the season they're having right now, they won the season series against OKC, the Clippers, and Memphis. They're 9-4 against those two teams or 3 teams and San Antonio. They still got a couple games left in San Antonio, and they actually are undefeated at home against Western Conference playoff teams, which is insane.
Right, that is pretty crazy.
Oh, and the crazier thing is, they just, I think the other day, they got up to the number 3 seed. It took them this long to get up that high. and they're only up by like a half game or a game. Tells you how crazy the Western
Conference. Right, they're up by a half game at this point over the Clippers, but that also goes to show you how, because remember the Clippers started so hot early in the season, but that also shows you how kind of middle of the road they've been since that, blazing hot start at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, and the funny thing is, or I guess interesting thing is, everybody thought, and I didn't believe this, and I know Charles Barkley didn't believe this either, is that Memphis was going to fall off without Rudy Gay. And for me, I was like, do you remember a couple years ago they took Oklahoma City to 7? They beat San Antonio that year without Rudy Gay.
Right.
And Tayshaun Prince is no slouch. I mean, that guy, he knows how to win.
Right. He's not the same player he was maybe 4 years ago, but, he can still play. He's not a bum out there.
Oh, yeah. That's one of the teams, though, that's just built for the playoffs. Their style. Right. They'll want to win a game like 50-49. They don't care. They love that.
Right. They're the Wisconsin of the NBA.
Their style of play it just takes your soul. That's what it's made for. They are the Wisconsin of the NBA, except with no Jufros or redheaded tall 7-footers. No.
Except they got a couple dudes that'll knock you out too, so you might want to watch out. You don't want to mess around with Zebo.
No, I would not want to play that team. I'm really looking forward to the playoffs, though. And I guess for me, what would be your best realistic NBA matchups for the playoffs? Like realistically, obviously we just switch it around regardless of records. But looking at the standings now, what do you think would be your preference for matchups?
See, looking at the standings right now, some of them are pretty good. So, the Spurs at 1 and the Lakers are at 8, kind of like a historical, at this point, old school matchup.
That's like the end of the era. That's like Taker versus Triple H, man, last year. It's
right. That's like loser leaves town type stuff. But that one, it's okay. I could get up for that because it's the rivalry. But I still would either if the Lakers are going to stay in the 8 spot, I want them to play the Thunder. I want the Thunder to sneak back into that 1 spot.
You want the Thunder?
I want the Thunder. I want the Thunder and the Lakers because I still maintain that last year the Lakers were this close to taking the Thunder out. Y'all call me crazy if you want to. The Lakers had a shot in that series last year. I think they could sneak up on the Thunder.
What are you drinking over there, man?
Well, we got a little something over here, but this, neither here nor there.
Might not be no drink. You don't want to put a little wheezy on your
Right. I'll be having seizures. But no, other than that, though, what I really, really want, but the Lakers will not cooperate, is the Lakers to sneak up until the 3 seed or to the 6 seed, and the Clippers get the 3, so that we can have an all LA first round. That's what I really, really want to see. But I don't see the Lakers cooperating with that.
I don't even know what to think. I mean, one game they beat was it Indiana was that without Kobe?
Yeah, it was without Kobe. Yeah.
They do that, and then the next game they lose to I don't know who they lost to, some terrible team with Kobe.
No, they lost it. They blew that 18-point lead to the Wizards at home.
I don't get them. I don't know. What about any thoughts on the East?
It's weird because it feels like in the East at this point we're just waiting on the Heat to be crowned to steal one from Dennis Green. But I'm interested in I like that Pacers Celtics matchup. It'd be some ugly ball, but I kind of like that. I wish there was a way to end up having Knicks Nets in the first round.
Oh yeah,
I think that would be interesting. I would love to see if the Bulls were to slip and maybe Derrick Rose decides to come back and it ended up being the Heat against the Bulls. I'd like to see something like that. But yeah, I think that for me, just based off of kind of the trash talk, I'd like to see the Nets and the Knicks in the battle of the overrated teams to see who took that one.
I feel you, man. But for me in the East, I'm just going to ignore every other matchup than whoever the Heat's going to be playing, basically. It's
Right.
That's like a two-team conference for me. I think Indiana and Miami are the only two legitimate teams there. So I'm basically going, I want Miami to play New York the first round because Melo and those guys actually think they're better than the Heat, and Melo actually thinks he's just as good as LeBron James. I want to see that first round. Then the next series, I think realistically you probably could get Miami-Boston, which is, I mean, the storylines write themselves for there. I mean, Boston's not going to beat them, but they'll always, give them their best shot. And then Miami-Indiana in that Eastern Finals. That'll be like one of those old, when the Heat used to play the Knicks all the time, and Van Gundy was getting drug around on the leg. Like, it's gonna be one of those type of series.
Right.
The only other thing I could see is unless Rose comes back from like the rafters, like Sting, and just like points at like LeBron, and they match up, and he just takes them out. Like, I guess I just want to see Indiana and Miami. Just skip the first two rounds, let those guys play for draft picks or something, and then just go.
Right.
Just go straight to Indiana and Miami, because other than that, you're just wasting time. For the West, I'm excited for this one. Usually every year I'm excited for the playoffs, but I think this might be the best Western Conference playoffs in a long, long, long time since I've been watching basketball. I think realistically what I would like to see is OKC in the one spot against Houston. You got the whole Harden, Kevin Martin thing, and it'll be high scoring. There'll be like zero defense in that game. If OKC got one, I'd like to see San Antonio in the 2 spot against Golden State. But everybody's forgetting about Golden State. But Golden State's actually played San Antonio tough this year. I think they knocked them off maybe once or twice. And what better way for that team to get baptized into the NBA playoffs than to play like the model franchise?
Right.
Clippers, Lakers, and this screws my team over if the Clippers move back up to the 3 spot. Because I too want to see the Battle of Los Angeles. I think for some reason I would bet money on the Lakers that series. I just think they're in their head. I just think they would pull that off, and that would be interesting to see. And then because I don't see Kobe losing to Clippers at his house.
No,
I just cannot see that happen. Then you have if that didn't happen, if it was Denver, LA, or Denver. Lakers at the 3-6 matchup, that'd be fun too. I mean, it's a rivalry just because they don't like each other. It's more from the Denver side, but it's not really a rivalry because the Nuggets never beat the Lakers in the playoffs. So I mean, this is our chance to finally do it. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Right, take that opportunity while you can.
We got to do it this year if we're going to do it, because next year you guys will end up having Derrick Rose will end up on your team somehow, and then. I don't know what will happen. You guys will end up with
Captain Love will be on the squad.
Who knows, man? And then if the 4-5 matchup, Denver-Memphis, you mean talk about opposite styles there? That'd be crazy, and I think that actually benefits Memphis, that slow-down game. But and then, again, the other matchup, depending who got the 3-4, would be Clippers-Memphis in that 4-5 spot then, because they kind of have a pseudo-rivalry. I mean, they played each other last year, I think, in the playoffs too, and they were openly talking about it being a rivalry, too.
Yeah, they had a nice series last year.
Yeah, so that'd be nice. But, I mean, all those matchups there, you can mix and match that, and you really can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's funny because it's crazy because there are so many combinations in the West that I would just love to see. And, I almost feel bad for forgetting the Rockets and the Thunder. That would be great to see. I'm with that. But yeah, there's so many matchups, and even those getting the Warriors mixed in there because it'd be interesting. Their guys are healthy to see them play. The Spurs or the Thunder, somebody like that, or see like the Thunder. Eventually, as we go down the road in the playoffs, see like the Thunder and the Nuggets match up, or the Nuggets and the Clippers. There could be some potential really fun series out in the West.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like the opposite of what those East matchups are going to be.
It's the least. It's basically
I'm telling you right now. I'm calling it right now. The Eastern Conference playoffs are going to be time to catch up on sleep.
You might be right. I might just follow it on Twitter to see if anything is going on, but I'm not really. They should just have a bracket basically of teams that didn't make the playoffs, and the winner of that bracket wins the first pick of the draft. that should just replace the Eastern Conference playoffs for me and just have Miami already in the finals. I take that.
Or at least just let us skip to the second round where maybe we could get like, Pacers, Bulls, and Heat, Celtics, because that'll be nice if we can find a way to get those two matchups, because the Bulls and the Pacers don't like each other, the Celtics and the Heat don't like each other, and those would be competitive series in a way. I mean, Miami's still gonna win, but it'll be competitive.
Well, do you think Rose is gonna come back?
No, I don't. I'm surprised we've gone this long without really talking about it, but I don't think that he's coming back. I think it's all in his mind, though, too, at this point. I don't think the team did him any favors by leaking out that he was medically cleared to play. I thought that was kind of dirty pool, but they did it, whatever. But then they had to deal with his brother popping off after that. But I don't think he's coming back this year. I think that mentally he's not prepared to come back. He's gonna have to go through the off season and come back next year.
I just don't get it. Like, I think he already had in his mind that he wasn't gonna come back. I mean, even if he was healthy at midway through the season, I think he had it in his head that he was not coming back this year, no matter what. And I think, and what's weird to me is him and Mon Shumpert got hurt the same day last year. And Shumpert's been back for like 3 months or 2-3 months already.
Right. It does seem like that. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, Shumpert's game is
different people.
No, go ahead, man.
No, but my question for you on that though is, do you think that the return series and that big marketing campaign by Adidas really pumped us up to think he was coming back, and then he really kind of got out there recovering and was like, I don't know if I can do it?
Dude, what are you talking about? About like 10 Derrick Rose shoes and like, I don't know. But he probably had to sign off on that though.
That's true.
He had to sign off on that. I don't know. He needs to come back. Not now. Obviously, it's too late now. I don't think it's a waste of time for him to come back now. They're not going to win it this year. Even if he did like some sort of Adrian Peterson like comeback, it wouldn't. You're not going to beat the Heat anyways. He's just by himself. Nobody else is scoring on that team.
And that's always been the problem, is that they have nice complementary pieces on that team, and they have a good team, and they have some good players. They play nice defense, but they need a second player badly. That's why when the Thunder were out there looking for trade partners, the Bulls should have been the first people calling, blowing up their phones to try to get James Harden. They needed to do something.
Oh man, that would have been. That would have been crazy, because basically, to give Rose some rest sometime. I mean, Harden's basically a pseudo point guard too. You just have him handle the ball. Right. Good stretch there to let Rose play off the ball a little bit, give him a little break, and man, that would have been crazy. There was so many people jumping on the Bulls bandwagon if that happened.
Right. That was my first move in 2K13 right there, getting Harden on the Bulls.
So you roll with the Bulls at 2K? You're not Lakers?
No, I find it's weird. Okay, to go into this. I find it weird to play with the Lakers because I find myself taking 40 shots a game with Kobe and scoring 80 points with him. So, because it's almost
that's what happens, though.
Right. That's what happens. But it's almost to be unfair to be out here playing with Kobe, because when you take that little fadeaway shot, he makes it almost every time. There is no stopping that fadeaway, and you get Dwight down on the block, and it's just impossible to stop them. It's like when you play against somebody playing with the Heat.
Oh yeah, that's if somebody comes to my house and instantly picks the Heat, I'm like, get out of my house, man. That's you get out of here, because you're not a Heat fan. You just want to pick the best game. It's like those guys that always come over and want to play me at NCAA football, and they pick the defending national champ or something, or the team that had like all A+. And they're not having no allegiance to the team. I don't know.
Or the people that are the worst in NCAA football, the people that pick the team that's pretty good but that has like a crazy fast quarterback, and all they do is run around with the quarterback. That's the worst. Like you get Oregon and you just run around with Mariota. That's crazy.
I call that Vince Youngin. Because back when we were in college, man, everybody would play. And we hated Texas and Nebraska. but everybody picked Texas and sat.
Everybody had Texas.
Who was the quarterback? Was it Sims? Whoever the quarterback
I think
was.
yeah, it was Sims.
Whoever the quarterback was ahead of him, they would instantly pause the game when the game starts, go to the roster, bench Sims, put in Vince Young, and even the other quarterback, the other black mobile quarterback they had, they put him above Sims just so they could just run around the whole time.
Right, so if Vince happened to get tired, you could put him in. Yeah, that is crazy. Everybody played with Texas when we were in college playing NC. That was crazy.
I think I might have to cut this out.
That was even before. That was right. That was before he even really got good.
No, yeah, he didn't even really play. I think we just heard of him. I think we were just looking through the rosters and we saw he was really fast. I don't even know.
Right.
I did win those tournaments, though. I got to tell you that.
Yeah, you were boss in those tournaments, though. I used to flame out in those.
We got to get something going again with that stuff. But all right, we got a little off track here, obviously. But anything else you want to add for the playoffs or college basketball? Those are pretty much all what I wanted to talk about today.
No, that's pretty much good for those, man. I think, like I said, we're looking forward to the West. The East first round is going to be a snooze fest, but I'm looking forward to the second round.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if Rose does come out from the rafters like Sting, dude, oh man, I'm switching teams instantly. I'm gonna be a Bulls fan.
Then you just magically pull out a Bulls jersey all of a sudden.
Yeah, I told you, Bulls for life, man. Like the before Jordan. I wasn't even alive yet, but anyways, right. Since that's pretty much all I have to talk about, other than this is the week that we launched NCB this time last year. We had what we call the soft launch. I can't even explain to you what that even meant. I think that just meant I really wasn't prepared to have content up ready, so I was just kind of buying time. Right. We really didn't start rolling until about the end of April anyways, but I can't believe it's already been a year. A lot has happened since then. I'll actually posting on our Facebook fan page here later this week what our site used to look like. I actually have some screenshots of that. I don't even know what I was thinking at the time, but I have some screenshots of that, and I was looking at it too. I think we only have like 5 of us left from the very beginning, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, probably something like that.
I think it's me, you, Lisa, Brian. He's only posted like twice, but he has like a post that's got like 100,000 views, so I'll let him pass.
Right.
Andy's still on the site, but I don't even know if he's alive anymore. Who else is there? I think that might be it, man.
That might be. Was Edge on the original crew?
How about Edge, man? He's got the best job on the site. Of course, he's
right.
And I think that might be it. It's crazy to think about. That's it. I mean, we've had some alum move on. I'll probably give a shout out to those guys. I think Jesse Pierce, she's moved on to bigger and better things. I think she's big time now in like New York doing some sporting thing out there. Carmen, she's still on the site. She wasn't on the site at the time, but she's all working with the Dodgers now, and they're leaving me behind. They're already forgetting about me. They started from the bottom, now they're there, and I'm over here still.
Oh no!
Nah, I'm joking. They've all been.
You had to pull it out. You had to pull it out, didn't you?
I had to make one reference. I didn't know when I was going to do it. I was either going to make that reference during the Gulf Coast. We were talking about Gulf Coast, or
right.
something. I don't know. I was going to say that at least. That's what all the kids are talking about on Twitter. But
it's funny that you pulled that out for Carmen because I know she likes that song, so I'm sure she'll appreciate that.
Shout out, Carmen. That was for you. But I don't know. We'll do some interesting stuff on the Facebook, and we might actually have another show this week with possibly Alyssa, who is our resident Thunder expert / I don't know what I want to call her. She's very argumentative, whatever the word is.
We can call her a Laker hater.
Yeah, she is a Laker hater according to Greg and Carmen. But she knows her stuff though. She's tearing it up with East West Sports. That's me. That's another one of our people that's kind of doing big things on the side too. And we might have a newbie, Tate Voback. I had to bite the bullet and get a KU guy on the site, but he knows his college basketball. I like to see him weigh in here, and I know he's excited to come join us. But we'll keep you guys up to date on when we get those two on there. And if any of you guys want to join us, just feel free to get at us on our Twitter accounts or just email us, get at us on our Facebook page. we might even start a mailbag where we answer your guys' questions as well. And I forgot. Greg doesn't even know this actually, but I was talking. I had some interviews with some past Husker grades, and Michael Booker recently, and Tara Mueller. No comment on that one. I think Greg knows how I feel about that one. But anyways, she was willing to come on the show later on if we have guests, and I think Michael was willing to do that as well. I think T. Farley, Terrell Farley's gonna be next. He might be interested in doing this, but so we might start having guests on here. I need to figure out all the technical stuff for having log on really quick, but so that might be coming up in the near future since we're gonna try to do bigger and better things here in our second year. So that's pretty much all I say. I just want to say I appreciate everybody that's joined the site, everybody that's read our site. We're still not where we need to be, but it's a lot better than it was when we first started.
Yeah, man. I want to thank everybody for reading, man. It's been a wild ride. It's crazy that it's already been a year, but and a lot has changed. I'm actually really interested to see keep looking at the screenshots. Because where the site actually started and how it looks now is totally different.
Oh yeah, it's Well, it'll be better with pictures. I really can't explain it. But one thing I wanted to mention though, since we're talking about Derrick Rose and returns, I know Greg, is your writing hand feeling any better? You've been out for a while. You gonna wait it out the season, or what are you doing?
No, I'm gonna be making my return soon. I'm going to work in the hashtag the return. There may be a video. I will be back soon.
Dude, we'll blow it out. I'll do some Photoshop stuff and Photoshop your face on Derrick Rose there, and we'll call it the return.
Nice.
But, all right, yeah, that's pretty much all we had. Be sure to check us out on nocoastbias.com, facebook.com/nocoastbias, @nocoastbias. We even have a Pinterest page I just opened up a week ago. We have like one photo on it. I'm going to try to create a reaction photos album for reaction images. So when you're on Twitter using weird faces. I think right now I have DeAndre Jordan's dunk face as the only image on our Pinterest page right now. So we're going to start that up. Obviously check us out on YouTube. Other than that, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you guys next time.
Later.